All right. Hello, everyone. I am Rahul. I work at Aztec, privacy preserving L2, assuming you guys know us. And I have been brainstorming how do we get shared private state on Aztec. This is disclaimer, kind of new to tease. This is purely a brainstorming thing we can talk about later, not necessarily now. The main premise is neither ZK nor FHE can actually give you private shared state. Does anyone not understand why this is possible? Is anyone confused by this sentence? Okay, cool. The real obvious way to answer it is like imagine lending. The rates come based on what everyone else does. So if everything is private, I don't know what rate to give you. Ergo, we can't have private and shared things at the same time. So private DeFi, not really possible in things like Aztec, Alio, anything with ZK or FHE. Cool. So there are two technologies that can get us to there. One is TEEs, and the other is co-snarks. Co-snarks, as of now, work best when there are only 3 nodes in the MPC network. There are certain collision risks. So the premise of this talk is, can TEEs help us mitigate that risk more? So is there an idea other than co-snarks that can reduce some of these assumptions? Okay. So really quick about Aztec. We have both private state and public state. This is because complete private state, not that useful. Can't do shared private state. And private state is fully UTXO. Public state kind of like Ethereum, account state model. You guys get it. It's an L2. Aztec also has account abstraction, which is a fancy way of saying everything is a smart contract. So you get to code your rules. You can code what keys do you use for signing, if you want key rotation. And so wallets do a bunch of things. They hold all your keys. They call other contracts on Aztec. They store your notes. So you can see in the account contract, there's a storage thing, and it defines how to verify your signatures and stuff. So again, really quickly, glossing over, a naive way of building a DEX on Aztec would be having only identity privacy. So you call the swap function privately, and that sort of relays it into the public land where you have a normal AMM pool with all of the tokens and all the fun things. And so all you can really hide is your address, but the swap you're doing is fully public, not as fun. RFQs, same deal really. On Ethereum, you have like them encrypted only until inclusion blocks, and then everything's fully public, right? I was brainstorming how we can have other ways to do this kind of thing, leveraging account abstraction on Aztec. So imagine like the account of a user itself is run within the TE. So all of the keys are sort of encumbered into the TE. It's just like a normal account contract that I showed you literally 2 slides ago, but it has 2 more functions, right? It has the swap function and provide liquidity function. So if you want to like ape into this kind of a pool, you provide it ETH and DAI in this case, and you give it to the user, which is T account, and the T account gives you LP tokens, right? And you kind of trust it because it's in the rules of the smart contract. Same way if you want to swap, it just mints the coins, doesn't mint, sorry. It gives you the coins you need. And if the pool, so you have like kind of a dark pool where like the user sort of holds all the funds. I say the user, I mean a T. The T holds all the funds and it does the swapping and pooling for you. If it doesn't have enough, then it can fall back into a public AMM. This is great. So in the plus side, you have like actually private AMMs, but if there are side channel attacks, all the keys are lost, then you kind of fall back into AMM. Although I kind of lie, because in this case, if you see, there's a signing key, which is what you use, for example, in Ethereum to actually execute transactions. In the event of a side channel attack in a T, this signing key might get leaked. And because this user holds all the notes, they can actually just rug pull and run with your funds. That's not at all okay. So what can we do better about the signing key? That's the real issue, right? Everything else about the scheme seems to somewhat work. Okay, the obvious next step is like, okay, you divide the signing key into like N of M parts, you do DKG, show me secret sharing, whatever your favorite solution is here. And you kind of like, you have pretty much the same setup, just the signing key does not exactly live inside the T anymore. It's shared by, let's call it a group of solvers, is what people in Ethereum seem to call it. currently in AMM land. And so now you have a good thing wherein it's slightly harder on what happens with the signing key. You have similar collision risks that I mentioned with core snarks though. So like, but this is like much more efficient than the 3-node core snark setup. So maybe it's better. The important thing here is, once again, like on the, what happens. So like, okay, you have these trusted vectors. Do we just kind of like recreate an RFQ system, but that actually works in Aztec? So that can give you a lot of privacy in the best case, but in the negative case, perhaps an identity privacy, which is you hide just what the user does. In the event of all the other keys that get leaked, like your viewing key or nullifier key, that's responsible to store all the logs and emit events and stuff. Also, like, this doesn't necessarily have to be in the account contract, the swap in the private functions, it can be anywhere else. As the important point is the keys and the wallet itself runs into the key. In the other room, we're talking about users, TEEs as an extension of users. This is kind of similar to that idea. So a bunch of open questions, find me around. I'd love to understand more about how these things can be mitigated. One is, so I was thinking about like, why do we need the signing key? Of course we need it because it sends transactions into the pool sometimes. But what are the other use cases of the signing key? Like one is like, it can have penumbra style batches, right? So if there are not enough funds, I can batch all of your requests and send it to the public AMM. Much better than just straight up using a public AMM, right? But like, are there other ways we can mitigate the negative externalities of all the other keys being leaked? This is the part I need most help on, to be honest. And the other things are, oh, part of the slide is cut, I guess. Okay, it's fine. The other things are like, okay, when these attack vectors happen, what kind of mitigations we need? So for example, can the user still withdraw their funds and put in a public AMM? At that point, what kind of privacy gets leaked? Secret Network did a bunch of cool things here. They, for example, implemented key rotation in the event of side channel attacks that happen. What do we need to do? I'm also running out of time. I promised Quintus I'll finish this on the 30th mark. I have 1 minute, so I have 3 QR codes for all of you to scan. If any of this interests you, one, we have an RFP for how to do private shared states on Noir. Get in line. Second, decentralized public testnet going to come. We're going to be the first LT to do this. We're looking for people who want to run nodes for this. That's the second QR code. Third, if you can't find me today, that's my Twitter. Quintus, I have done. I feel like I should do a mic drop here.